Hello snowboarders of the internet, I'm your host Avran LeFeber, and in this video we're going to be reviewing the new Jones Mind Expander Twin. That's right, they took their Mind Expander and made it twin. This board features Jones's Christensen Surf camber rocker, so it's camber underfoot and rocker in the tip and the tail. This is going to give you ease of float in powder as well as ease of entry in and out of turns, but you're going to get that pop and drive from the camber underfoot. This board is available in 154 and 158. I rode this board at Copper Mountain on a sunny bluebird day with warmer temps, zero wind, hot pow off the runs, pristine perfect corduroy on the runs. It was just one of those things where we got a bunch of snow and then it warmed up, so that snow pretty much just became super hot by midday. And I rode this board with my Rome Black Label bindings and my K2 Thraxis boots. This board has that true middle of the road park flex to it, so you get those softer tips and then it stiffens up midway to the insert pack through the middle with a fair amount of torsional flex. This board is moderately stable. You will get chatter out the tips and that will resonate slightly back underfoot. It's very lively in really rutted out terrain. Keep your knees bent. Like I say on most other board reviews that I do, just be prepared that it'll probably get knocked around a little bit and you'll probably end up feeling a little bit of those rougher jars right to your lower back, going up through the ankles, knees, and hips and whatnot. So if you're gonna pop with this board and powder, you wanna load up that camber section, then roll back on the rocker and activate it like a springboard, and it's gonna be solid. You're gonna notice that. Now, if you do the same thing on a groomer, there's snappier boards out there. It just doesn't have as much pop. But when you get back on that rocker in POW, you notice that you just get like a slightly bit more spring, and that's kind of how it is. Now, when it comes to jumps, small to medium, totally fine. The bigger ones, you're probably gonna have problems with because the tips are soft. It doesn't give you as stable of a landing. But if you were to hit a backcountry jump, you wouldn't have to worry about that because you'd be able to wheelie out of the landing. It's really like riding two different boards at once when you're trying to hit jumps. Like, there's how it rides on a groomer and then there's how it's gonna ride in POW. And they're very Jekyll and Hyde, if you will, in their characteristics. Overall, it is one of those boards that what you put in isn't going to be as much as you get out of it. So you're putting in more effort to get a little bit less snap out of it. With the rocker and softer flex on the tip and the tail, there's two ways you can look at how you want to butter this. You can put your weight all the way out, but you're probably going to over flex it, eat shit and die. Or you can be a little more finessed and just sort of roll outside the binding so you get that lateral flex and keep it locked in right there, and then let the rocker take over and allow you to do a nose or tail butter. You'll be able to swivel and sizzle that way. I did overpower this board more than once. In fact, I think probably 50% of the time I was overpowering it, trying to figure out how it was gonna press. And when it comes to jibbing, it's pretty much the same thing. You wanna finesse it, you wanna be a little more laid back, because when you land in that rocker zone, it really does roll back and let you just get a higher press out of it. And it doesn't fight you that much. Even though it's got that camber section, it really doesn't fight you. And that's part of the reason why you can overpress it and overflex it and cause it to wash out. Now, when I was jibbing, like I said, you want to be a little more mellow, a little more finesse on that, and kind of just roll outside the binding to let it lock in. And when I got sideways, that camber section just creeped right around the rail. It would just lock in and hold and allow you to slide. So if you want to jib with this thing, it's fine. You want to butter with it, be a little more calculated and a little more laid back. When it comes to carving with this board, it's nimble edge to edge. You've got that 3D shaping in there as well as an abundance of rocker. It really just rolls over and engages, and then it locks in for the most part and you feel locked in. It doesn't feel like you're gonna wash out until you really start to drive off the back foot out of the carve. When you're getting that apex turn and you're just trying to give more power as you get out of it, you can overpower the tail and cause it to fold. So you gotta kind of tone it down a little bit. With that said, it does steer more underfoot. You can do a lot of ankle steering and just transition it very smoothly from toe to heel and just be laid back. It's when you're railing deep hard carves that you start to notice the problem with it. It's one of those boards that short, tight, quick turns, medium, mellow carves are really its strong suit, and slashing. This thing is absolutely amazing at slashing. I did a Z slash, so I was just like that. You know, like the board just slashes exceptionally well. And you'll notice when you're disengaging that turn, the 3D shaping takes over. So on a slash, it makes it super buttery, super easy to maneuver. But on a carve, you end up slightly disengaging and steering more towards the insert pack. So you pretty much lose that excess of the tail, so you don't have that power in there anymore. So if you're one of those freestyle guys that really doesn't need to rail deep, hard, aggressive carves, you're probably going to be fine with this. But if you're one of those guys that's like, I need to be locked in and really pushing it even though I'm riding a powder twin, you might want to look to something else. Who's this board for? The freestyle focused powder rider. I really like the concept of the powder twin. There's people that want and need that. It's fun for buttering around in POW. It's just one of those things, it's the right tool for the right job with the right rider. Now with that said, I've ridden better powder twins than this one. It just feels loose, which for a Jones board doesn't seem natural, but it does feel loose. It just didn't engage quite how I would want, and that's fine. I mean, if I was riding this for like a backcountry twin, I wouldn't have a problem with it, but as this is kind of marketed as like that resort twin powder board, you lose some of that power out in the tips. And that wasn't for me. I'm not saying it's a bad board, I'm just saying it wasn't for me, and I have ridden better powder twins. I've ridden a lot of boards, and this probably wouldn't be one that I'd gravitate towards right away. I'd probably actually go towards the regular Mind Expander because I know what I'm getting with that thing. With this one, it's like an amalgamation of a mountain twin with a Mind Expander, like they put it into one. And if you're gonna do that, I'd probably rather just ride a mountain twin. But for you, that might not be an issue at all. Maybe you want a super buttery twin that you can play around with. The flex is dialed for the most part. What I didn't like was that I did go over the handlebars on the nose, buttering it around and nose pressing it. I could just overpower it a little bit much. And I actually was riding the 58, which is the bigger one, so I can't imagine how bad I would manhandle that 54 if I had ridden it. Comparable boards: the Battalion Magic Carpet, the Marhar Lumberjack, the LibTech Golden Orca. Binding recommendations: the Jones Mercury, the Union Strata, the Rome Vice. This has been my review of the Jones Mind Expander Twin. Do you agree? Do you disagree? Do you own one? Are you going to buy one? Leave me a comment down below. Let's have a conversation about this snowboard. If you're new here, remember to subscribe, click the bell, get those notifications. That way you're not missing any of the videos we got coming out for all you snowboarders of the internet. And if you really like what we're doing over here and you want to support us further, swing on over to Angry Snowboarder VIP and become a member. Your support helps us grow. I could tell you more here about that, but I got a video over there that explains it so much better. As always, I've been your host, Avran LeFeber, and I'll see you in another video.